Welcome to the Babies in Business Podcast. Join your hosts, Rachel and Avram Gonzalez, real-life parents and business partners. Each week on Babies in Business, Rachel and Avram create a space for entrepreneurial parents to find their own way. They'll dive into insights on topics like leadership, efficiency, self-awareness, budgeting, and human psychology as they nurture their family and build their business. Here's your hosts, Avram and Rachel.
Good morning, good afternoon, wherever it is you are. We're here in the podcast studio knocking out a couple of these guys. We just got back from our family staycation, which was great.
Yep.
What did you like about it?
I liked that I got to focus on just one part of our life, and that is our family and our household instead of business, because I knew that everything was taken care of. All things were moving forward with our team, and all of our clients were being taken care of by our team. It doesn't require us to be present. So it was really nice to just check out of that side and know that things are being taken care of.
Yeah, well, and we decided from this little experience that we're just going to take a week off every quarter.
Yes.
So whether that's here at home or going to visit family or maybe making a special trip out of it, taking that week off, because it's just so easy to just continue the next week and the next week. And business is always going to be there, but
It's nice to have a recharge.
it was really big for
to
us.
just really get to step away. And it's more than just like a weekend. You know, weekends are overrated. Sometimes I don't feel like I'm relaxed at all coming out of a weekend. But from that week, it felt like we were just really able to settle in and find a groove in different ways.
Yeah.
And get more creative. It's like, you know, what did we experience during that time that we want to bring forward with us? I felt a lot of that too.
Yeah, agreed. Well, we're excited to be back recording some more stuff for you guys. We're talking today about like the interesting things that come up when you are trying to make friends as a married couple with kids.
Yeah.
And we're looking back at a lot of our relationships and laughing about how you might really like one of the people in the part of the marriage that you're like wanting to, connect with, and not like the other person.
Right. The married partners matter. You know, if you're married to somebody and I don't like that somebody, and I don't like that somebody enough that I don't actually want to be around you, well, that's not good for our relationship.
No. So I'm sure that you can relate. We've got 3 different stories and dynamics to talk about. You might see yourself in one of them. I just think that we can all relate to this subject. And, well, let's just start.
And there's no right or wrong to it.
No.
It's just an observation on our part that's just curious.
Yeah.
We thought we would share it.
Yeah, I mean, before kids, it felt like our friendships were more flexible. You know, like who we chose as friends was more flexible.
Sure, but also how we interacted with them was more flexible. 2 of the couples that we're going to talk about, we knew before we had kids.
Yeah.
And we were the ones that would go over to their house. They had kids, but we would go to their house after babies were in bed and we'd play games and things like
kinds of
that.
stuff.
So we were staying up later, but also leaving our house at ungodly hours when you have children.
Yeah. Yeah, like coming back at 2 a.m., not appropriate when you're trying to drag kids home.
Well, and then, you know, if you stay up later at night, then you will be punished in the morning.
Oh, you will be punished. Right. I read this meme the other day that said something like, there's nothing worse than like nursing a hangover with children. Not that we're big drinkers by any means, but
Well,
it is
I think
the
of
worst.
a sleep hangover or a lack of sleep hangover. I
Yes.
feel like you can wake up just really groggy and not really present and kind of cranky to begin with, instead of like recharged and ready to have the time with your kids.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a lot to get to the end of the day. Anyway, let's get to these relationships that we
Yeah, so first relationship that we actually started with one of the partners,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And it was me and him connecting a lot. And we connect over all these shared interests, geek out on them, talk about them, laugh about them. And we later, I put it in parentheses on our notes, discovered
It's true.
his partner, right?
Who is a gem.
Yeah, and so it's like this whole time we're building the relationship with him, and then we finally meet her, and we're like, oh, wow, you're incredible, and you're deep, and there's so much to this person. So what was funny was over time, we ended up really connecting on a deep level with her
Correct.
versus more of a surfacey level with him.
Yeah. I've really enjoyed this friend. And we've just been able to have really great conversations and help each other move through some things that she and I had that we were working through. And yeah, it's just really interesting to see the shift from we met him and you had met him first and then I got introduced to him and we knew just him. We did not know his wife. And then we got introduced to her and we just thought she was fabulous. And it's not that common. It hasn't been common for us to meet a couple that we like both of the people in the couple.
Yeah.
And this one was one of them. But we do really love her.
Yeah. And then what's been interesting is like over the course of years, their relationship dynamics have changed and stuff with their family. And one of the big things that's occurred is this growing apart
Yeah.
that I have with him,
Yeah.
just on two different tracks in life. And we don't see her nearly as much now because he's not really a part of the picture the same way.
Yeah. So it feels like, you know, when you're trying to make relationships or friendships, when you're married and have kids, oftentimes those people are married and have kids. And if you don't get along with both of the partners, then sometimes you just don't make the time to see each other. And that's unfortunate.
It is.
I actually am sad about that because I really do enjoy this friend.
Yeah. Well, and the times that you have been able to spend the time have been when you have carved out time with just
Correct.
her,
When
and then
she and
you
I
guys
go to lunch or we'll go do breakfast or something, you know, we'll get together and we just realize, wow, we need to do this more.
you know, but the common thing before that was let's just get everybody together,
Yeah,
and it was
let's
easy.
play some games
right?
and kids are there. And,
Yeah.
But we were going over there in the evenings and that is almost impossible with two children.
Yeah. So that's just one of the interesting ones that we've had to navigate. That we
Yeah.
have some sadness around a little bit.
Yeah.
But things change and people change.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean that anybody's bad.
No.
You know, we're just looking at it. That's it.
Just it's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Second relationship, second one is pretty straightforward. I think this is the one that everybody can relate to.
I think so. Yeah.
So we have a friend that both of us know and that we adore
Yeah.
to the maximum. And he's great. There's like so many things about him that we love. We love how he is with his children. We love how he is with his family. And
With people in general.
with people in general. So it's like you just want to spend as much time as possible with
I
him.
would say that he's magnetic.
Oh, yeah.
And he lights up a room when he walks into it. And he can befriend anybody. He can have a conversation with anybody. So many likable traits about him. And just really enjoy being around him.
Yeah. And so the thing is, the more time that we would spend together and time with him and his wife and his whole family, we slowly realized how much we very much disliked his wife.
Yeah.
And why was that?
I mean, I'm not somebody that really likes to participate in gossip or even have it brought up. And it just felt like that's all that she ever had to talk about was somebody or something that she didn't like and had a lot to say about it.
Yeah.
And I just really, man, I was reading this book and it's Who's in Your Room? And I just keep thinking about this person. And Who's in Your Room is written by Ivan Meisner and some co-authors, but basically it talks about how you can never get people out of your room. It's a one-way door in your life. And they talked about values and how you can actually, so knowing that it's a one-way door into your life, you should place a bouncer, somebody that meets people at the door and approves them coming in or not. And that bouncer is actually you having values and things that you stand for so that you don't allow people to come in knowing that they'll never leave if they come in. One of them, as I'm reading this book, one of them that just really strikes me, and it is so true for me, is I don't really like drama. And I don't want to have people in my life that introduce drama. And this person introduces drama on a high level.
Yeah, very regularly, every time.
It's just, yeah, and I just don't want to be sucked into it, and I don't, and I recognize it, but it's an energy suck, and it just feels, it doesn't fill me up.
No.
It doesn't make me want to spend more time with that person.
Yeah.
So knowing that and me trying to be better about who I let into my room, though she is in the room, just being conscientious about not letting it affect my room. Like, he talks about putting a person in a box and putting them up on a top shelf in the back.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So I think that everybody has somebody in their life that they need to put in a box in the very, very back top shelf.
Yep. Yeah. And it's hard to keep them in the box when they're married to somebody that you really enjoy.
Yes.
So that's been the hard part. And I think what we've learned and how we've adjusted is like, well, we've sort of adjusted our expectation of how much time that we'll have with the
person that
the
we
person
love.
that we really love and appreciate. So, what does that look like? It's less hanging around and talking
Yeah.
and more like, let's take the kids and all go do this activity. So there's this
Yes.
really great buffer.
Right. There's something that you're doing that actually doesn't actually lend to a lot of talking.
Yeah, it doesn't allow it to
It's
go.
an activity of some kind.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's been the kind of like the adjustment that we've made to have this person in our life and keep the other one in a box in the back of the room.
And though this person is in our life much less than we would like, still in our life.
Yep.
So we feel like that's a win.
Yeah.
But, maybe some of you might have people in your life that as you're listening to this story, you're thinking, oh boy, maybe I do need a bigger box. Or, maybe I do need to put them in a box, because if this person is constantly introducing something that is intrinsically against the values that you have, for me, it's introducing drama and gossip. But if maybe they're tearing you down, and if it's a family member, please hear me when I say this. If you ask this question and the answer is no, think about it. If this person was not family, would you hang out with them? If the answer is no, that's a clear indicator that they do not serve you where you are now, and it is okay to put them in a box or put them at a distance. I would recommend reading this book. We're going to put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
Who's in Your Room? Great, really powerful tool to help you.
Yeah.
To
And as
decide.
a quick plug, you can always see the show notes, all the resources, mentions of books and things are on the website, babiesandbiz.com/84. That's today's episode number. The last one I'm excited to talk about. Right. I had a long-term relationship before Rachel. She did too.
Yeah.
I wasn't actually married, but it was pretty damn the same thing. Pretty close, right?
Yeah.
And so I had this long-term relationship that over time, I became very isolated, right? So there's a lot of factors that played into that. But the point was I became very isolated, and even from like my parents, didn't see them as much.
Especially from your parents.
I moved to New Mexico with my ex, and the only people that I had here were family, and we connected really quickly when I arrived. But within a year, it was like, why didn't I get invited to the birthday party for the second birthday of my cousin? I was invited for the first birthday. Why not the second one?
Yeah.
And these like other strange things like, well, why wasn't I invited,
Why wasn't I invited?
Right. Dot, dot. And then, you just kind of keep living life. Well, by the time that her and I had separated, I started reaching back out to friends that I hadn't seen in a long time. So I had friends like Chris Rushlow, longtime buddy of mine, my friend Tracy Reuter, and then several of my cousins, through conversation, shared with me. First, I'm happy you're out of that relationship. And second, I'm so sorry that I wasn't there.
Yeah.
But I could not stand her.
They also said things like, I couldn't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of intersect into this part too, because I came in towards the latter part of your relationship. You'd already ended your relationship officially with her, but she was still living in your home.
Yep.
And I came in as really, truly a relative stranger, and I was able to say things about your ex that nobody else in your family was able to say.
Right.
And I was able to say, no, what? That's not right. I had come out of an abusive relationship, and when you were telling me about what was going on in your relationship, I was like, this is so similar, Avram. That is not love. That is not this. That is not that. So I was able to say things to you that you heard from me because who was I? I had nothing to gain by saying this. But I was kind of fearless in saying it. And you were able to get out of that. Just see the stuff and get out of it.
Yeah. So I feel this on both sides of it because, here I was sort of oblivious to the fact of what was going on.
Yes,
And then
absolutely.
being on the other side, people telling me I couldn't say anything. Well, our first two examples in this podcast, we can't say anything.
It's true. Yeah, you can't say someone to the partner of the person you don't like or don't get along with.
Especially when they're married.
Oh, yeah. Who are they going to side with?
Who are they? Right?
That's easy.
It'd be very damaging to your relationship. When you say something like that, I think the greater possibility is that you close the door for the entire future of your relationship.
Absolutely. There's this whole judgment. They assume things. There's so much stuff.
So much stuff. And so...
Well, and you missed out on so many opportunities because people didn't invite you because of your ex. They detested her so badly that though they love you, and of course anybody that meets you loves you, though they loved you, they were unwilling to bear her presence at whatever event they had going on, that they would not invite you.
Right.
You missed a wedding in Greece.
I did.
You missed a 2-year-old's birthday party, a really close cousin. There's a lot
Years
of stuff.
years of bonding and other opportunities missed because
Yeah.
who are we going to invite for the barbecue this weekend? Well, not Avram and his partner,
Yeah.
So pretty sad, but I think that everybody can relate to both sides of the story and understand the sensitivity there is around saying something and speaking up.
Yeah. I mean, what do? I don't think you can do anything about that. It's really coming down to like, what is it that you want out of this? Like with that one friend, we really enjoy him, but not his wife. So what do? Well, we just take what we can get. When we can get time with him, awesome. We'll take it. So
Yeah,
it's kind of a trade up.
it is. It is. Yeah, I think that about sums it up for me. I think that in some ways it's hard enough when you're married and you have young kids like us.
Yeah.
It is already kind of isolating because you got early bedtimes and things like that, and
Right.
you want the best
Well,
for
and
your
then,
children.
yeah, and I think a way that we can help each other to facilitate friendships is making sure that we individually have friendships. That while we make friends as partners and with partners, people that are in relationships of whatever kind they have, that we also make time for each other to have time to make friends with those that we want to have friends with. There are individuals that you really get along with. You have someone that you're going to go on a hike with.
Yep.
You have someone that you might go on a run with. And I make sure that you have that time to do that.
Yep.
For me, making sure that I can maybe take a friend to lunch or go get a pedicure or, something like that. It doesn't have to be spending money, but it is the awareness and willingness to give your partner time to go and explore friendships that they would like to have. Because in the end, we're all individuals and we're craving connection. So.
Yeah. So this week we don't really have a community question by any means, but you can always drop a comment over at the website, babiesandbiz.com/84. That's the show notes for today's episode. If you scroll to the bottom, there is a comment section. We read all the comments, so we're happy to field those and see those as they come in. There's also the opportunity, if you have a topic that you'd like us to explore for this podcast, you can always email us at hello@babiesandbiz.com. You can also use the form on our website, babiesandbiz.com, and submit an idea for an upcoming episode. So we'll consider all of those, and you could possibly see your idea featured on an upcoming episode. So we're getting pretty close to 100.
We're
getting
very
pretty close to
excited.
100. So that'll be in September of this year. We're not sure what we're going to do for that, or if it'll be just another episode or what, but we're starting to think about it. So fielding all ideas, let us know at hello@babiesandbiz.com. And with that, we'll catch you on the next episode. Thanks for listening.
Bye for now.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Babies in Business podcast. Who do you know that would benefit from hearing this episode? Share it with them and post about it on social media. You can find the show notes for this episode, free downloads, and connect with the rest of the community at babiesandbiz.com. We'll see you next time.